While physical store sales declined last year, digital channels delivered all the growth for CPG brands. But not all digital channels are created equal, and the data finally proves which ones actually work. I'm pulling from two excellent sources today: Stratably's 2025 CPG Outlook and Media Ads and Commerce's most popular research from last year about the third wave of incrementality. Good morning and welcome to the Retail Media Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Kiri Masters, and every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern, I bring you candid and real discussions in the world of retail media and marketplaces in just 10 minutes. So bring your own cup of coffee and we'll get smarter about retail media together. Now, according to Stratably's analysis of 30 major CPG brands, collectively representing $675 billion in global sales, we are witnessing a decisive shift in how CPG brands achieve growth. The data from Stratably tells a compelling story. Digital channels were responsible for all CPG growth in 2024, while physical store channels actually declined by 0.3%. And this trend is going to continue in 2025 with an estimated 2/3 of all CPG growth coming from digital channels. So here's why this matters right now. The timing of this shift is critical for three reasons. First, CPG growth has been very anemic, trending at just 1.4% in 2024. That's well below the 3 to 5% long-term growth targets that most brands aim for. Second, Stratably points out that profit margins are at historic highs for CPG brands, finally giving them the financial flexibility to reinvest in digital growth. And third, the digital ecosystem, particularly retail media networks, has matured significantly. And this is where Media Ads and Commerce's research comes in. They found leading RMNs, retail media networks, generating $2.62 in incremental return on ad spend. Now, for context, looking across 10 digital advertising channels studied, the incremental return on ad spend looked more like $1.58 for shopper marketing, 58 cents for paid social media, just 7 cents for search engines. So if you're listening to this and you don't have the visual, basically we're looking at the top two RMNs for this CPG brand delivering much more incremental ROAS for this brand. The top two RMNs ranked as the top two performers overall for driving incremental sales growth. So the evidence of this shift is now showing up in brand budgets. One large CPG holding company in the Stratably report said that they had shifted 85% of their advertising to digital channels and increasing marketing spend to up to 12.3% of net sales. That was up 80 basis points from the previous year. Now, these aren't isolated examples. Across the CPG landscape, brands are moving dollars away from traditional paid social media, which often struggles to generate positive incremental returns, toward retail media networks and retail media powered CTV, despite there being sometimes higher costs. Now, while brands are rapidly shifting dollars to digital channels, there's a critical question that they need to address. How can they ensure these investments are truly driving growth? The current problem is that ad dollars are being algorithmically allocated according to proxy metrics like ROAS and click-through rates. And ROAS is a blunt instrument and highly flawed as a metric. Yet, it's difficult to discard entirely. Andrew Lipsman from Media Ads and Commerce has a great quote on this in his article where he says, "The resilience of ROAS stems from its ubiquitous use in retail media and across digital media more broadly. Ad investments, not to mention people's bonuses, are often predicated on this metric, and inertia is a powerful force." And the data bears this out. When ClearData analyzed Amazon's ad formats, they found sponsored brand video ads delivered the highest incremental returns despite having lower ROAS on average. And digital end caps outperformed sponsored products on driving new sales, though traditional metrics would suggest otherwise. For CPG brands investing heavily in digital channels, Andrew Lipsman argues this is the moment for change and to bring in incrementality metrics as standard. This means CPG brands will have to adapt to maximizing actual advertising effectiveness, which will mean breaking some bad habits like buying subprime ad inventory and relying on proxy metrics. So looking ahead, the implications for 2025 and beyond are clear. Stratably projects digital penetration to grow another 130 basis points, reaching 16% of total CPG sales. Digital channels are expected to grow at 11.7% next year, while physical channels will see modest growth of just 1%. By 2029, digital channels are projected to represent 21% of total CPG sales. For brands that are still heavily invested in traditional channels, the evidence suggests an urgent need to reevaluate their media mix. With retail media networks delivering proven incremental growth and the digital ecosystem continuing to mature, the path to growth increasingly runs through digital channels. The key question for CPG brands isn't whether to invest in digital, it's how quickly they can optimize their digital presence to capture this growth. The combination of direct sales impact and incremental growth makes retail media networks uniquely positioned to drive CPG growth in the coming years. Well, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Retail Media Breakfast Club. We meet here every day at 6 a.m. Eastern. So be sure to subscribe and get your daily dose of insights, trends, and hot takes in the world of retail media and marketplaces.